There he is.
All right there, Curtis.
How you doing, buddy?
All right, mate. How was you?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Right. Been a
So how's your
glorious.
game? How's your
Sorry?
game coming? How's your game coming?
Yeah, I haven't started it yet. I've been outside most of the day, and I needed to get a blind for that room because the sun in the afternoon pours in, and it gets really hot in there, and it also shines directly onto the table and onto the minis. So I got a blind yesterday, and I fitted it this morning. So it's a lot better in there now. Cooler, and it's keeping the sun off the mat and the figures. So something I needed to do, and I've got it done now.
That's good. That's real good. I was curious if you started that game yet.
No, I haven't. What I've done is I've just done the intro, and I've dealt out the cards for each side. They only get 5 each this time instead of 6
Yeah.
on this battle. So I've dealt out the cards, and what I'm going to do is I'll do it by photography again, I think, because it's quicker and easier, and you don't have to think on the fly, and I make too many mistakes when I do it live. So I think I'll do it by photographs. It gives me some thinking time.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good. I like it. I like it.
Well, I'm glad you put me onto the cigar box mats because they are absolutely superb.
They are.
Definitely going to get another couple of them.
Yeah. I think I got about 5.
Yeah, I've just got the one, and I definitely want one for the 28mm Civil War, and I'm looking at possibly a desert type mat because I'm going to Sheffield in a couple of weeks to the Joy of Six, the wargaming 6mm convention in Sheffield in Yorkshire, and although I'm getting reinforcements for the American Civil War, I'm quite keen on the Greeks and Persians.
Nice.
So I'm thinking of a mat for that as well. So I really don't. I must admit, I'm really into this 6mm.
Yeah, you are. It looks pretty good. I used to think about getting into it myself because you could have bigger battles and more going on, but I don't know. I just never got into the small scale. Basically, you need a lot of them to look right.
Yeah, you do, but you can paint them up so quick because it's just a dab of paint.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like painting a 28mm where everything's got to be perfect and you've got belts and sashes and buckles and buttons, and there's none of that.
Yeah.
You know, you can just batch paint them. All right, it's monotonous, but you still knock out. I mean, I've been knocking them out 6 regiments at a time,
Jeez.
and it's, you know, I can do. If I sat down in the morning and worked all day, I don't. But if I did, I could knock out 6 regiments in a day, no problem.
Yeah.
But it certainly opens up so many possibilities on the table because you can fight large scale battles. You know, I mean, the 28mm American English Civil War is fine, as you know, because you've played the game. But you're only limited to the number of units you can get on the table.
Yeah.
So really, it's a glorified skirmish game. But with 6mm, it opens up a whole new world. You know, you could almost, well, you could redo Gettysburg, you could do Shiloh, you could do Antietam. You know, nothing to stop you, just the scenery. And with one of them mats and a few trees and buildings and fences, you're away. Well, you showed it yourself when you did your Flames of War on there when you was doing your reports. You just transformed the mat just to what you need.
Right. It's very versatile, actually.
Oh, it is. It's great. It's. I mean, I've just put towels underneath or socks or whatever just to. I mean, I know you can go to the whole hog and you can get some, you know, shape the scenery and get some foam, pink foam, and do it that way. But I've not needed to so far, and it's working a treat.
And it looks good. Looks great.
So what you been up to? What are you getting on with lately?
Wargaming wise, I haven't had that much time, but let me think. I've been doing a lot with the role playing actually.
Uh-huh.
Uh, can you see that?
Yeah, Panzer Grenadier Deluxe.
Yep. Very good. I love it. I've been reading that actually quite a bit. It's a little bit different from what I'm used to, but it looks great. I'm probably going to do something, maybe make a video on this, do a battle report on it or something, because it looks fun.
Right.
That's a little distraction for me, but it looks great. Great solid book. I love it. I've been
And
fiddling with that.
who produced that?
Who makes it?
Yeah.
Uh, General de Brigade. You know,
All right.
yeah, his name is David Brown.
Mm.
And he's the author of all those books on General de Brigade. He makes General de Brigade. He makes British Grenadier, Panzer Grenadier, and a few other sets of rules. They're usually quality hardbacks like this, full
Yeah.
color. They
Yeah.
look great. They're not
And is
cheap.
it adaptable over the scales?
Oh yeah, yep. Like this, for instance, is meant basically for 15 millimeter figures
Mm-hmm.
with any mounting system you want, including Flames of War. But it does have a mounting system, and you could use
Yeah.
it for bigger scale figures like 20 millimeter, and definitely the micro scale 5 and 6 millimeter and 10.
Yeah.
No problem. That's these rules. I had General de Brigade, same thing. The basing is a lot like black powder. What else? Great sets of rules. His rules usually have a lot of historical flavor and feel to them.
Mm.
So,
I know people do rave about his General Brigade because of the Napoleonic. I've never really got into. I mean, I did Napoleonics in 1/72, and I don't really want to repeat that again in another scale. You know, I don't want. You know, there's only so many armies you can collect and paint in anything. Starting again in Napoleonics, and I think, oh no, I don't want to start again and do something I've already done in
yeah,
another scale.
I've
But
had
I do like the 6 mil. I'm quite like the 15 mil as well. The Flames of War. I do quite like the look of that, but I'm not really into more modern stuff. I'm a bit 19th century, mid 19th century, and previous to that. Me,
of course. I know the feeling. I like a lot of ancients.
yeah, I know. I've seen your Wall of Shields. I
Yep.
keep up to date with that.
The most fun I've had is probably with the World War II because it's the kind of warfare that's not linear. You know, it's very mobile. Things can change quite rapidly. And
Mm,
the mental stimulation and challenge from that is I like it. Not to mention I like the history of World War II. It's probably my
yeah,
number one period. Like you like the English Civil War, which I love too, but I've never played it. Uh, Ancients is very linear. It's pretty much set them up, and that's it.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of moving around and finesse. There could be, but it's not typical. But it's its own little beast.
yeah. I think it's what you just get drawn into. I mean, I think what put me off modern stuff was the range. You know, the ranges of weapons are so huge. I mean, you can have artillery off the board. You know, and then you've got air power, which spoils everything. Oh, to me it does. So I've always tried to avoid modern.
Yeah, I like the challenge of it. It's easy to paint, you know, because you're not talking about these big, complex, colorful uniforms like you see with the 17th and 18th century and
No,
19th century Napoleonics. But like I said, World War II is a different kind of beast.
yeah,
Like ancients, they're so different. But I don't know. You got in this hobby, you got to kind of restrain yourself because it's so easy to get turned on to something like a different period and just go crazy buying and painting and just you never get anything done.
yeah,
So
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I've
yeah,
still got. I mean, I've got Saga Army, I'm only halfway through. I've done the Anglo-Saxons. I've still got to finish the Vikings. So I've got the 6 mil army on the go now. I've got the English Civil War army, which isn't fully complete, although there's enough to get war game with. It just goes on and on. I mean, I think, oh, I'd love to do this and I'd love to do that. I'm looking at the Perry 28mm War of the Roses figures and think, oh yeah, I'd love, but you just can't do it. You just haven't enough time, just ain't enough hours in the day to do all the things you want.
Exactly. It takes time. It takes money. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to stick to what you know you're going to enjoy. I mean, I've been watching all the hoo-ha what's been going on at the moment about Games Workshop. I mean, I've never bought anything Games Workshop in my life.
Well,
Just doesn't, I just don't understand it. It's all futuristic and fantasy, which I've got enough on the go without starting to dig into anything like that. But when I have gone into Games Workshops in the shops and I've looked at the prices and I thought, yeah, the minis are lovely, but do I really want to pay that sort of money? I think, nah, there's no way I'd want to pay that type of cash.
I used to play GW games 10, 15 years ago. I used to be really into Warhammer, 40K, Necromunda, Mordheim, all their games. I had a little club here that used to play it all the time, and I was into it. But I got out of it for about 10 years, and I got back into the historical stuff again. And I've looked at Warhammer today and the games and miniatures they have now, and some of it's interesting. It's eye candy. It's good to look at.
Yeah.
But when you look at the prices of some of these models, it's like there's no way I'm going to pay $109 for one model that stands that tall, which is pretty big, but still, it's too much. That's ridiculous.
It's not that way. Where would you store it, for goodness sake? I mean, it's enough trouble storing your models as it is without huge, great beasts like that.
Yeah, I know. And most of the models are fragile. They're either resin or they're plastic, and geez, you got to really store that pretty good.
Yeah.
You pop off a wing, or break a leg. It's too much for me. I can't get into that no more.
No, I must admit, it's never appealed to me. Although I like to see what people are painting up on YouTube, but I think, well, I don't understand it. It looks lovely, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It's never happened. It never will happen. And at least I know that what I'm doing, it actually happened at some point in history.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's more of a connection with the kind of gaming we do, which is historical, because it's kind of like reality. It's real stuff. You could learn stuff. It inspires you to learn stuff, and that's different from, say, Warhammer and fantasy. It's fantasy. That's totally make believe.
Yeah.
It doesn't satisfy me like, say, Flames of War or DBA or whatever, because it's got more historical feel and flavor, and it's real.
Yeah, I mean, to me, part of the fun is the research, actually researching what you're doing, so that you can see what the battles were actually fought like, and who was in charge, and what the personalities were like. You can actually get to grips with the person. You can get inside the head of the person who was actually in command, and even some of his subordinates. If you read some of the books that are available, so you can't do that with Games Workshop stuff. Yeah, you can read the codexes and they'll give you all the fluff, but it's just made up. It's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange, but I mean, it's popular. That's why them two guys have made so much money. But they won't be getting no money from me.
Yeah, good. Save your money for the 6 mil.
Yeah.
Or something worthwhile, something that will give you a lot of satisfaction, like DBA.
Yeah, I've not tried that. I was looking more at that Impetus that you was showing me a few months back.
Yeah, you can get that online.
Yeah, I got a copy of Impetus Lite, and after watching your videos about a year back.
Yep.
And I got a copy of that to read, and that's what started getting me interested in 6 mil Ancients.
Yeah,
Once I went down the 6 mil road, I thought, well, the impetus rules would be perfect for what I want
they would.
for the 6 mil.
They would. I've played a lot of basic impetus. It's it's a really tight system. It's really enjoyable and has a lot of feel to it. You feel like you're fighting an actual battle in the Middle Ages or ancients.
Mm.
Like DBA, De Bellis Antiquitatis, it's my favorite actually, but it's a different feel to it from say Impetus. It's more, it's hard to explain, but it's a different feel. Like for instance, in DBA, they're not units. You don't move units. You don't declare charges. You don't
Mm-hmm.
do things like that are very intuitive, like it would in Impetus, where you got to charge, you got to make a morale check, and all these things that make sense and make it feel like a real battle. But in DBA, it's your units are called elements, and unit types are like blades, and they're different terms, and
Yeah.
it's very much a game of uh, mathematical geometry, which actually is what war is, especially in the
Mm.
ancient period. It's all based on lines and maneuvering of those lines. So there is a lot of geometric elements to warfare. And with DBA, dealing with the larger scale of a battle, that's what you see. So
Mm.
compared to Impetus, Impetus gets a little bit more gritty. It talks in ways that are more intuitive and understanding, like charges and stuff. It has more feel for it. So it's a different feel to the games. Uh, Impetus is a good way to go if you want that. It's the one of the highlights of Impetus is the fact that you can build little dioramas with your bases
Mm.
because they're big bases. You can put as many figures as you want on there. Don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
With 6 mil, perfect. My God, you could set up your Roman legion where there here's a cohort, here's a cohort, here's a cohort, and then two more cohorts behind them in a checkerboard, and all this on one base.
Yeah.
You know, you could do that, especially with 6 millimeter, and it looks great, fantastic. It feels like you're playing a real battle and looking at a real battle. The only reason, really, why I don't play that much anymore and go with DBA is because I like DBA is popular. I could go to
Mm.
a convention and take part in tournaments, one-offs, and find opponents left and right, and that's good because I like that. But that's my main game.
Yeah. I've never tried it. I've never had a rule book on that. I know Ringo does it as well. I know he's into DBA
Yeah,
with his figures because when he was painting up, not this challenge in the May, but last time when he was painting up his Romans, etc., he was on about blades and two blade or whatever, and he kept saying, then those of you who know what I'm talking about. I didn't, of course, but I gathered it was all to do with the basing and stuff in DBA.
what about you? What's your next project after this 6 millimeters American Civil War? Anything?
Well, this is going to take me a while because I'm getting a lot more reinforcements at Sheffield. I mean, I need the limbers for the artillery. I need more generals because as I'm basing them with corps commander, divisional commander, brigade commanders, lots more infantry units, more cavalry. So I'm looking at probably £200 to £300 worth of metal when I go there to actually completely fill out the ranks that I want to do. So that's going to take some time. After that, I don't know. I've still got to finish, which I still am messing about with. I'm still working on my English Civil War, doing the Scottish and the Irish troops, but I'm doing them in between. I've got some of them on the go, but I'm having a hell of a job with the tartan kilts. They're just can't get them right. I get them so what looks quite good, and then I have to try and add a bit of red or a bit of white, and I just make a complete ooh-ah of it and then ruin them. And I think I have to start again. But once I get it sussed, I'll be all right. It's just getting them right.
What size? What scale miniatures?
28.
Uh,
28. It should be easy enough, but it's not like in the old 1/72 scale, Scottish Islanders where the kilts were all plastic and nice and straight. Of course, with metal, everything's shaped. There's the shape, there's the creases, there's the ruffles. You can't just draw straight lines. You've got to follow the creases. You've got to follow the shapes with the metal figures because they're so precise. And that's the difficulty. I've tried core 2 or 3 times, and I'm doing a test figure, just one test figure, and I must have painted him 4 times. Still not happy with what I've got. So it's frustrating to say the least. But I'll get there. I'll get there in the end. It's just taking time. But I want them to look right, because if they're going to be on the battlefield, I want them to look right. I don't want them to look scruffy.
yeah.
I want them to look as good as I can make them. I mean, they're never going to be perfect, but as good as I can make them so that I can look at them and say, yeah, I'm happy with them. And as long as I'm happy with them, then that's all that matters. But the Irish will be a lot easier because they're mainly grey. They didn't have the tartan as such. They were just grey plaid. So they're going to be a doddle to do. Although they're wearing kilts, it's just this hodden grey. So that'll be simple enough. It's just doing the tartan for the Highland clansmen, and there's only a blooming 28 of them, but it's taking an age. But they'll look good once they're done, and after that, I don't know. Well's your oyster, really, isn't it? You can go down any road. I think 6mm ancients will probably be after that.
Yeah.
and after that, I think that's as far as I can go. I can't really, because you can only have so many armies. Although with 6mm, it's a lot damn easier to store. I found some small boxes in a chain store in Britain, because we don't get Plano boxes across here. And but it's very much like Plano boxes, and they're fitting absolutely perfect. So I bought half a dozen of them, really cheap, and while they were on the go. And the 6mm fit into them absolutely perfect. Ancients will probably be after that. Yeah. So they'll do a treat. That's as far as I can go. I can't really. You can only have so many armies. Although I'm playing back to myself here, I think.
What's that?
I thought I was playing back. I could hear myself then for a minute.
Yeah, I was on my page on YouTube and looking at the video that we're making right now.
All right.
I have to check the chat messages if there's anybody in there, because I sent out some invites, just to sit around and chat. But in case somebody says, "Hey, what's the link?"
Well, the trouble is at this time, I mean, it's just coming up to 6:30 in the UK, and
Yes.
And because it's been glorious, so everybody will have been out Saturday. Everybody will have been out. I mean, I only just came in and switched on by pure chance and saw your message.
Did you?
What time is it where you are now?
Let me look. It's 1:28.
1:28, yeah.
In the afternoon. So yeah, it's 5-hour difference here on the East Coast in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing I've been working on for some time now. And today I just released some of the information on it. And basically, do you remember, Jamie Tranter, right?
Yeah.
You remember those bolt action live play videos that he was making with I can't remember who, but he set up games and they would play it online.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Okay, well, I could never understand why that never took off as a popular thing. You started doing the things you were doing, which is fantastic, about playing the game online. So what I did for the past year and a half, I've been working on this idea, talking to Jamie and some other people about doing that and creating basically a hub group on Facebook that was meant for people who want to play games that way online
Hmm.
using Google Hangouts or Skype. Google Hangouts is perfect, and play games that way. The reason why this really struck me as something that could be done was because I play role playing games online, and it's
Hmm.
excellent. It's perfect. Uh, but I could never understand why people didn't do it more often online. And all you really need to do is create like a hub where people can get into this group and communicate with each other and set up events for
Uh-huh.
playing on Google Plus, for instance. Like if you know
Yeah.
Facebook, in a group, you can actually set up events and you could join those events. They'll have a date and a countdown and everything, a little description of what the event is. And that's how people could organize their games and get together on, say, Google Plus and play. All you
Mhm.
really need is just a host, like me, for instance, that has the miniatures, the table, the time, and the space to play a particular game, and at least one or two other people or more who want to actually play online,
Yeah.
live. It's not hard to do. It's extremely easy.
Well, it's the next step up to what we were doing then with yourself and Ringo on the when
Exactly.
the it's just the next step up, isn't it? Where I was doing it via video and you were sending orders through email, where
Right.
you'd actually be there doing it live.
Doing it
Yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah. It
It
would
would
be a
be
good
a lot.
idea.
It would be a lot exact. It'd be exactly like me and you talking right now.
Yeah,
There's no difference. Like this my laptop. All I have to do is have this set up in a high spot where it's showing down on the table and leave it there, and then just move and measure. They can roll dice, do what needs to be done, and the game can be played just like you
yeah,
were there.
yeah,
That's it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I just created that group today after a lot of discussion with some people. I don't know if I have you on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook.
No?
No, I work in a school, so and a lot of the students are on Facebook, so I stay well clear of it.
There you go.
It's just one of them things. It's the kids use it, so the staff don't.
Well, I've been on Facebook for years. I've had to get off it a few times because it can get very dramatic.
Yeah,
But I just started a Facebook again a few weeks ago for this specific purpose. And I've got a few people on there that I know, in the community, and that's
yeah,
about it. I don't tinker around with it for any other reason. I just created it just so I can play games for my role playing and my miniatures, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
pain in the ass otherwise.
Yeah. No, I've never tried it. It's not something that I've ever thought, well, I can see a use for it. Some things like YouTube, yeah, I can see use for it. This type of thing, Skype, I can see a use for. Facebook, to me, I don't see a use for it. And as I say, a lot of our students are on it, and so I stay well clear because I don't want suddenly, be popped up and be messaged by people who I teach. That's the last thing I want when I'm at home. So I don't go on it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Well, you've got to be careful as well. You see, it's there's always an element of risk, isn't there? It's if students get hold of Facebook, all right, it can be innocent, but these days you've got to be so careful. So no, I shall stay well clear of Facebook. I mean, if they watch me online, I mean, like one or two of them have found my YouTube channel, which is fine. If they want to watch the videos, because I don't swear on any of my videos. I don't. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing obscene or anything, so I've nothing to hide. Even though I've been making YouTube videos for I don't know a couple of years now. Even when I started, I never thought about the kids watching it, but I never swear online. I never do anything that I shouldn't. So I'm quite happy for them to watch everything I've ever made. But and they can comment, but that's fine because it's not live. They can leave a comment, and then I can, if I want to, can go back and comment back, which I do. But it's not live, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
It's you just got to be so careful. Because they're so savvy. I mean, they're more savvy than I am when it comes to. I mean, they just take the computers and the software and everything that goes with it as if it's, water off a duck's back. Where I have to study it to understand it. It just don't come natural because I'm too old for it to come natural. To them, it's just natural.
Yeah.
So they're able to run rings around me on something like that. So best to stay well clear of it for me.
I hear you. So would you be interested in playing like that? Say on Google?
Yeah, on Google Plus, that'd be fine. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me just get me specs on it. See. Yeah, Knights. Just a little bit higher. Because all I can see is your name. Oh yeah, they look good. Yeah, they look good. So what are you looking at? Crusades?
Oh, these guys I painted up a long time ago. These are in fact I featured them in my Impetus videos. These are my feudal English.
Yeah.
I have a huge monster army of feudal English. It's gigantic. And yeah, a lot of them I have to rebase. I have them mounted for Impetus and stuff. I have them mounted for DBX gaming and so on. I'm in the process of remounting them. I got tons of them. Tons.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
war.
Yeah. I think there's something about the knights and the tabards and all the rest of it that goes with it. I like the longbowmen with their red and yellow leggings, and there's something really spectacular about them. And that's why I think I like the War of the Roses and the Perry miniatures. They really are tempting. That's 28 mil War of the Roses, and now they're bringing out the 100 Years War sets as well, and you think, oh, it's just so much. I've just got to say no. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to even look at it.
There you go. Don't even do it. Keep away.
Yeah.
I've pretty much restricted myself totally to 15 millimeter. No more 28s. No more 25s. I just can't. It's strange, but people say to me, "How could you paint 15 millimeter? They're so small. They're hard to paint." To me, they're easier to paint than a 28 because for one thing, there's less surface.
Mm-hmm.
They paint quicker for me. For another thing, you don't have to paint on all the details that you would find on a 28 millimeter. They're just not there. And if they are, they're not worth painting because they're too small. Right, yeah. So, but if I have a 28 millimeter figure in front of me and I look at all the detail, the buttons, the cuffs, the lace, everything, the detail that's on that figure, it's too much for me. I can't do that 30 plus figures in a week. Well, I could do about 30 figures of 15 millimeter in 3 days. Yeah. But it's just too much. I can't do it. My eyes are shot. So I'm happy enough to paint the 15s, give them base coats, use a dip, and they look fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I do like the 28s. I mean, they do look smashing. They really do look lovely all lined up. But as you say, there is a lot of money, a lot of time, yes, and a lot of effort goes into 28.
Yes,
it's really, if you're going to do 28s, it's got to be just one era, one period, and stick with it. And that's why I did the English Civil War in that period. I shan't. I'm not going to go too far down the road with any. I did get the the Hail Caesar, the Conquest of Gaul box set.
Yeah.
Just to have a look at the Roman legionnaires and the Gauls and the ancient British. I painted a few up, but not many. But maybe at a future time I'll do that. But you just can't. There's just nowhere to put them. Just 28s are so big.
Yeah.
The storage alone and the effort that goes into them is just, it's rewarding when you get to finish the unit, but you need so many units.
Yeah,
With the English Civil War took me ages to do that and a lot of money.
it looks great though.
Oh yeah, it looks great, and I mean I'm pleased with it, but a hell of a lot of effort and time went into that and the money. So I think I'm going to. I'd think twice before I do 28mm again. It'd have to be something special like the War of the Roses, and it would be much smaller armies. I wouldn't go for another huge army like I've done with the English Civil War. It would be maybe more on the scale of Lion Rampant, that type of gameplay.
You like Lion Rampant?
Yeah, I've got the rule book. I bought the rule book a few months back to read through, and I do like it. I think it's intuitive, it's quick, and you know me, I like quick and simple.
Yeah, it is.
And I can see where it's coming from. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of figures. You could probably get away with 3 or 4 boxes of, probably less, of War of the Roses figures, and you're off and running, up and
Yep.
running and ready to play.
He's a good guy too, Dan Mercy. I helped him put together his forum for all of his rules. He's a great guy. He has a good way of thinking when it comes to rules. But I'm not a big Lion Rampant fan, but I do love his older rules. The Dark Ages one. What's it called? Dux Valorum. Dux Valorum.
Oh yeah,
I
ain't got a copy of that.
I haven't played it, but I'm getting there. When I find the time, paint up some DBA Dark Age armies, and I'll just play some Dux Valorum as well.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah, well, the thing with those rules is you can spread them over a few periods. I mean, I've got the Saga rules, which I kind of like, but you can, of course, use the same troops with Lion Rampant.
Yep.
So, and I tend to base my bigger figures singly and then put them onto, well, you saw how I did it in the English Civil War battles, on them rectangular bases that each held about 8 figures. And that way, it gives me a lot of options.
Yeah.
Takes longer to set up, but I think it's worth it because it gives me more. All right, I can't send them charging up a hill because they'll come falling off the base, but I can live with that just for the advantages it does give me of rebasing them. If I want to use them singly, if I want to use them as a group, I can.
Yeah, skirmish.
And, I like that.
Like skirmish gaming.
Yeah. And also figure removal, because I like to see figure removal. I like to see a unit start to be depleted. And you can actually, instead of having to look at a dice or a chart or something else, I can look straight at that and say, right, they're already down to 7 from the original 12. You can see instantly. You don't have to work anything out. It's there in front of you.
Yeah, I know that feeling. That's like back in the old days in the 80s when I was first playing. That's the way rules were.
Yeah.
You'd actually keep track of the actual loss of men. Like if one figure represented 30 men, when you figure out the casualties from shooting or melee, it'll tell you how many men are killed. And then you deduct it from the number of figures, the number of men on that each figure represents. So it was very complex, but that's how it was done. And you just removed figures as they, died in terms of men that they represent. Yeah. That was a bit much. Yeah, that's old days.
Yeah. Well, that was, Donald Featherston.
Yep.
When he used to do it, there was some of the first books I read was Don Featherston, and he was, it was so long ago, it was 1/72 scale, and he did exactly the same figure removal. And it's old school, but I love it. Love it.
Yeah. It's different. That and the simultaneous movie.
Yeah. It's I don't know, there's some good stuff. I like this. I've got a few rule sets and I like to read through them, and some of them there's bits what you love and there's others where there's bits what you're not so keen on, and I don't suppose anybody will write a set of rules that'll appeal to you completely because you'd have to write that yourself.
Yeah.
If you're going to just to please yourself, you'd have to write your own rules. But yeah, there's some decent sets of rules out there, and So I mean, the figures we're just spoilt for choice now. Some of the figures out there. I don't know if you follow Fraser von Ketteringham on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I have.
You do, yeah. He's just changed from doing Dark Ages. He's been doing Vikings and Normans,
Yeah.
and he started on the Spanish Civil War.
Yep.
Oh, and the figures he's got, absolutely superb. And you look at them, you think, oh, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. And you think, no, you can't. You've got enough on the plate now, but absolutely lovely figures, and a totally different period to what you ever see. I don't think I've ever seen anyone war game the Spanish Civil War.
I've heard about it, but I've never actually even seen a game.
Yeah. So, but I assume he's going to do it, and whether or not it will use bolt action and some modified version of bolt action, or maybe bolt action might even bring out one of these supplements that they do for the Spanish Civil War.
Wouldn't surprise
So,
me.
but the figures are absolutely stunning.
Where do
Mind
you
you,
get
he's a superb painter anyway.
where do you get the figures for it?
He gets them from. Oh,
Perry?
I'm trying to think of the name. Um, is it Empress? I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and watch his most recent video was a couple of 3 days ago, where he was showing some. He'd got some light machine gunners, some mortars, and he got them from the same company. I can't remember the name of the company now, but absolutely superb figures.
28 millimeter, right?
Yeah.
He's good. He paints figures really well.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I loved his Dark Ages stuff that he did.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'd almost completed that to the point where he had 2 complete armies, and I think he was only like about 3 units short for each.
Wow.
When he decided, yeah, I've had enough of this now, I want to do something else. I've been doing it for a year or more, and he just went Spanish Civil War, and I thought, whoa, I thought if I'd got that far, but that's Fraser. He gets something into his head and he's off. And now he's doing these Spanish Civil War. They look absolutely superb.
And he'll do it too. He'll do
Oh
it
yeah, he'll do it. Oh
complete.
yeah, he'll do it. And the beauty of it is when he does finish this, and he goes back to his Dark Ages, he'll only have half a dozen units to paint up, and he's ready to go.
Yep.
So there is method in his madness. He's got that units. They're not going to go away. They're stashed away, safely away somewhere, and he'll go back and finish them final few units, and he'll be ready for battle. So yeah, there's certainly method in his madness.
Yeah.
But I love watching his painting stuff.
Yeah,
He used to do some little where he would talk while he was painting, and it would last about 20, 25 minutes. He hadn't done one for a while, and I used to just sit mesmerised watching that. And he might only be painting highlights on fingers and faces, but I used to sit mesmerised just watching it, totally absorbed by what I was watching. And you think, well, he's only putting a bit of paint on a figure, but yeah, it was just, he'd chat away. Now I won't be able to talk and paint at the same time. It takes me all my time to paint, let alone talk as well. But he just does it naturally. But he hasn't done it for ages. I'm going to have to get onto him and say, why aren't you doing that anymore? Let's do it with some of your Spanish. It's about time you did another one of these talk-alongs while you paint.
Uh-huh.
Miss them.
It's like playing the guitar while you're singing. Not everybody
Well,
can do it.
I can't do either. I sound like a bag of frogs.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Right, well, I think I'm going to have to go, Curtis.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm glad you let me into this link, and you sent me that link because I've never dropped into one of these hangouts before. So hopefully I'll be able to jump in straight in next time because it had to quickly download and boot up and do the different little bits it had to do. So hopefully next time I should be able to jump straight in.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's not too hard to use. You just basically, whoever's hosting the chat, which was me, all I have to do is send an invite
Mm.
or send you the link.
Mm.
That's it. And then you can get in. Otherwise, if you just go to my YouTube channel, you'll just see the video and you'll be watching it. You won't be able to actually interact and
Yeah.
be in the chat like this.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
how it works. So it's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Because I've seen others where it's on YouTube where it's just text. People are obviously typing what they think, and
Mm.
then whoever's hosting it can obviously see the text, and then they speak back.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
kind of delayed.
there's a chat in here that only me and you can see. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Now only me and
Yeah.
you can see that, and anybody that's in this chat window. But the people on YouTube that are watching us chat, they don't see this.
Ah,
They
right.
they have a separate chat window, which is on the YouTube's channel.
Yeah.
And like there's one there now for this chat that we have, but that's separate from this chat. They
Yeah.
can't see this. They only see us talking with our ugly mugs. That's it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
That'll
pretty
be a
cool.
shock. There won't be many viewers when they see us two staring out at them.
Oh yeah, that's it. They're gonna click off as quick as lightning. What the hell is
Yeah.
this?
Right.
All right, buddy.
All right. Cheers.
It was a good.
Anyway, it's been good. We'll have to do it again, buddy.
Yeah, and we'll have to consider having a game with Ringo or whatever, and we'll do it online
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah,
All
we'll
you
have to
have to, all you'd
decide
have.
what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just decide what battle it is and what rules we're using, and yeah, it'd be good fun. I'm sure Ringo will be up for it again, because he's a bit of a he likes his being a general. Does Ringo?
Yes, he does. He beat me.
Yeah, it's 2-0 up, isn't he? But we did sort of put you against it on that last battle with
Yeah,
that hedgerow. I had to modify that a lot because that hedgerow was like hard cover instead of soft cover. Should have been once a volley had gone in there, it would have been deforested and it would have been normal. It would have been, yeah, you was up against it on there. But that's what that test game was all about, to test the rules, and that rule was wrong, which I've
yes.
modified now.
It was
So
a very brutal battle, a very
yeah,
brutal play test. I couldn't. No, I had some good ideas of what I could do, but the thing is, so much happens in one turn,
mm,
especially with shooting and casualties, that it just throws everything out the window.
yeah,
And your the situation changed dramatically for me after one turn, and it was like,
yeah.
oh, it's hopeless now. Okay, I'll go home. See ya.
Yeah, it was. And it's not very good because obviously you don't get to roll your dice, and you can't change your orders, can you? You've got to pre-order, which was a bit of a pain because once something had failed, you could have amended your orders then, but once they were already written down, them orders were carried out regardless. You had no option to change anything. So that was a bit of a unfortunate, but it was a good play test, and I think you and Ringo did. So that was the whole object of it, and was able to I was able to refine it a bit. So the next time we play, you won't have that problem. Why have we got a load of numbers come up?
Those are dice.
Oh, is that the dice roll? Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
that's excellent. Why is a triangular one? Is that
it's
a
fine.
three-sided,
Yeah, that's a four-sided dice.
four-sided dice? Okay, we've got the standard 6.
I got eight-sided,
Oh yeah,
10-sided,
yeah.
and let me click them all. It's called Dice Stream, and it lets you roll dice in the chat.
Oh
They
yeah,
a whole
that's
bunch of different
brilliant.
things.
Yeah. See, you've even got up to, so you've got like a 30-sided dice there, is there?
I guess that's what it is. I've never seen it before, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. I didn't even know that existed.
I think that's
So
a
that
percentage dice.
35 there. So you've got a really big dice score there.
Yeah. But actually, by me putting this on and doing that, I think you might have it now too.
Right.
I think it instantly downloads if I have it.
All right. Well, let me see.
If you move your mouse all the way to the left of your
Yeah.
screen, you'll see a menu.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the screen share cap. Dice stream.
There it is. You got it.
Yeah.
That lets you
So,
roll dice like this instead of rolling them like, for real. You could actually use Dice Stream and say you have to roll 3d6 to determine damage or something. Well, you just
yeah,
plug in 3d6 and then click roll. There it is.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, there's all sorts of little bits and pieces down this side. Yeah, it's the first time I've used it, so it's new to me, all this. Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's
So,
interesting.
and control panel, effects, and YouTube. So, oh, yeah, right. So I see now you can click onto YouTube to go back to see what you're doing. Yeah, oh, great stuff. Yeah, I do see the chat piece down there. Yeah. Okay, right, I'm going to have to go, buddy. It's nearly 7 o'clock, and I've got to
All right.
make Her Majesty a drink and take the dogs out for a walk before the evening. So
Okay.
we'll talk again, Curtis.
Well,
Now we've done this once, we'll be able to do it again.
yeah, we'll get some more people in here with us and we'll see what we come up with.
Yeah, yeah, because it'd be nice to have a little group chat. Nice to get Ringo in and maybe one or two others
Yeah,
and see what we can come up with and arrange something. It'll be good.
definitely. All right. All right. You take
All right
care.
then.
I'll talk
And
to
you
you.
then, Curtis. See you, mate.
We'll see you.